And we are rolling. Hey guys, how's it going? It's your buddy Jake Dominguez back, of course, with another movie review. My Captain America Civil War shirt is on because it is Marvel time. And today I'm reviewing what is arguably the most anticipated movie this year, Avengers Infinity War. Guys, let's face it, we've all been waiting for this movie. This is the movie where the Avengers and all the Marvel characters combined get to face against Thanos. We have been setting him up for many years now. Marvel's been making these movies for 10 years, ever since Iron Man. Ever since the end credit scene of the Avengers, or the mid-credit scene, we've been setting up Thanos. And all throughout these Marvel movies, we've been setting up how he's been trying to get the Infinity Stones so we can put him inside his Infinity Gauntlet, which we saw in the mid-credit scene of Avengers Age of Ultron. They've been setting this up. And that's what this movie is about. We finally see the Avengers go against Thanos, their biggest threat yet. The Guardians of the Galaxy are here this time, which is awesome. And they all are going up against Thanos. That is the plot of this movie, and people have been pumped for this film. The first trailer broke YouTube records. This thing is going to make tons of money. People are excited. This movie has been hyped up so much, it almost seems pointless to make a review of a film like this. It's the same with making a review of like a Star Wars movie or any of the other Marvel movies or superhero movies. The movie like this is such an event that you're probably going to see it whether it gets terrible reviews or not. But I'm doing a review of it because I got some things to say. Having said that, this review will be spoiler-free because boy, this movie has some surprises. And that's the thing. Avengers Infinity War is one of those movies that the less you know, the better. So it's going to be hard to do a review of this movie. And I probably won't be as long as maybe some of my other ones. We'll see. Because I want to keep a lot of this secret for you guys. But man, I haven't been able to stop thinking of this movie ever since I saw it last night for show. This movie is really something. Now, Avengers Infinity War is directed by the Russo brothers. They are the directors of Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Captain America Civil War. I had to think about it for a second. And they came back to direct this movie and the next Avengers movie. Avengers 4 comes out this time next year, I believe like beginning of May. And they also already have that shot. They shot this movie and Avengers 4, which comes out a year or so from now, at the same time. That is crazy. They had like I don't remember how long the shoot for this movie was, but it was like a long time. It was like almost, I might be wrong, but it might have been almost a year-long shoot. That happens every once in a while, like all the Lord of the Rings movies all shot at the same time. The first two Superman movies back in the 70s all shot at the same time. I know Back to the Future Part 2 and 3 shot at the same time. With movies like this, where they're so, like, guaranteed going to be a smash hit and all this build-up has been gone to, it's happened before, but, man, not on this scale. So, Avengers Infinity War. How is this movie? It's awesome. It's really good. I really like this movie. It's what we would expect from Marvel. It's a kind of just basic Marvel stuff, and then some. It's great entertainment with lots of great jokes, lots of great humor, awesome action scenes, and most importantly, the characters that we love with the great actors portraying them. And they're all in this movie. All the cast is great. Robert Downey Jr. is always going to be perfect as Iron Man. I've said this for years, and this is a big statement, but for me, Robert Downey Jr. is the Tony Stark what Christopher Reeve was back in the Superman. I mean, that's a big statement, but he is perfect in that role. Same as Chris Evans as Captain America. Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow in this movie. She's awesome. Everyone is awesome. Chris Hemsworth as Thor gets some awesome moments in this movie, which made me very happy. The whole cast. You guys, I don't need to go through all the Avengers. You know who they are. They are all awesome. They all get their chance to shine. I love Benediktus Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. She gets some good stuff to do in here. I'm a huge fan of Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I really love his portrayal in Civil War, in Spider-Man Homecoming, and I love his portrayal here. He really nails that character. But the thing I was most excited for in this movie was to see the Avengers go with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the Guardians films. They might be my personal favorites of the Marvel films. They're all awesome. It did not disappoint. Let's put it that way. All those actors, they're great. And yeah, what else can I say about this movie? Well, I will say this. I was nervous going into this movie for one reason. Like I said, these are all the Marvel characters coming together, and I was afraid that it would be a little messy. With all these characters, with so much going on, I was afraid that some of the seams might show, and it might be kind of a messy movie because of all the characters going along and everything. It's Age of Ultron, Avengers Age of Ultron, the second Avengers movie. Really good, really fun movie. That was one of my issues with that movie. I thought that movie had some structural issues. Even Captain America Civil War, which I loved when it came out, and I'm still a huge fan of. I'm wearing the shirt right now, for goodness sakes. As much as I enjoy that movie, on repeat viewing, some of the seams did begin this kind of show. You know what I mean? When you have a huge ensemble cast, it takes a lot of work to make sure that the story is concise and straight and isn't a complete mess. And I was really nervous about that going to Infinity War, even though, let's face it, Marvel and the Russo brothers have proved themselves to know what they're doing. And I'm happy to report that I was mostly wrong. This movie isn't perfect. There are some flaws in here, and a lot of that has to do with my initial fears. This movie isn't a mess, but my biggest issue with Infinity War is that it does feel a little disjointed at times. There are times where, we have all the different Avengers on their own adventures. Again, don't want to get any spoilers, but yeah, there are times where it does feel a little disjointed. I would say in the first and second half, it's a little messy in that regard. So there are some story structural problems, and it's fine though, because it's such an entertaining movie, and you love these characters so much, it's like, who cares? Excuse me. And that's the thing. That's what makes this movie work, is the characters. I love the Marvel characters. Not just in the comic books and the animated series or whatever, but I love these characters. Marvel has spent 10 years making us love these characters. That's why we love these movies. It's not just seeing superhero action and all that, although, let's face it, that's great, and this movie has that to spare, but we love seeing these characters. Man. These characters, I love them. And I love the actors portraying them and their betrayals of them. Even when these characters are in a not that great movie, like Iron Man 2, which I wasn't a big fan of, or Thor the Dark World or something like that, at least you get these characters, even when they're on a bad episode of a TV show, per se. If you care about the characters, you like the movie. And that was what made this movie fun. The Russo brothers and the writers of the film, whose names I'm forgetting, unfortunately, right now, I'll put it down in the description below, did a great job of knowing which Avenger to put with which Avenger and all their different Avengers in this movie. They picked the right characters to know who went with. And that's a lot of fun. Again, to go back to my initial criticism, though, this movie does feel disjointed, and I'm sure some people will be disappointed that one character doesn't get as much screen time as another character, but it works mostly well. They juggle it well enough where it works fine. This movie is huge. It is an epic in every sense of the word. It almost reminded me of the Lord of the Rings movies in its scope, and again, in terms of just all the characters and everything. It's not as good as the Lord of the Rings trilogy directed by Peter Jackson. Then again, nothing is, but I digress. But that's what it reminded me of. The action sequences in this movie are would be like the third act of any other movie, like the big third act set piece of any other movie, but they're all throughout this movie. It is huge and epic, and the action is awesome. Almost to the point where, to be honest, I'm not in a rush to see this movie again. Don't get me wrong, I really like this movie. It is awesome. It is what I wanted it to be. And I do want to see it again, but I'm not in a rush to go out and see it again because it's so huge and so much happens that it does feel a little overstuffed. You know what I mean? It's almost like this is a roller coaster ride that you get to ride on multiple times because the guy who is managing the roller coaster is really nice and he's letting you guys go on it multiple times. It's like that. And after a while, your stomach starts to get sick and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? That's a weird metaphor, but I think you guys know what I mean. It's like that. There are so many roller coaster rides in this movie. It almost is exhausting. I saw this movie with my little brother, and we both felt exhausted at the end because it's a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours long, full of just huge epic stuff, and it does feel a little overwhelming, and it kind of overstuffed, like I said, with those story issues. But again, I keep on mentioning that, but again, it's not a huge deal because the movie works well enough. And the story, even though it is a little loosey like that, works well enough where you're forgiving of it. In the end, guys, Avengers Infinity War gave me exactly what I wanted. It's an awesome movie, it's an entertaining movie, and I gotta say, Thanos in this movie rules. He is played by the great actor Josh Brolin. He did this role as a motion capture role, kind of like what Andy Serkis does in his roles. And he also does the voice acting, of course, but he does the motion cap and the voice and all that. Thanos is awesome. He is a great villain. I can't think of a lot of Marvel movies where they have a great villain. Black Panther, which came out recently, is the exception. But I've always had a bit of a villain problem with Marvel. Thanos is awesome. He is a threat. There is real stakes in this movie, which again is a nice change from some of the other Marvel films. And he just is great. Again, I can't go into too much detail about Thanos, spoilers, but Josh Brolin does a great job. I really hated that character. I mean, you really do not like him. He is evil, but there's more to him than meets the eye, you know what I'm saying? And that worked out really great. Thanos is awesome. In the end, guys, this is a really good movie. It's pretty well shot. Alan Silvestri's score is great. I really enjoyed it. No spoilers, but as much as I really like this movie, and I think most people will really like this movie, and I recommend it, I'm a little worried about this movie. And again, no spoilers. I loved the ending. I'm not going to talk about what the ending is, but I loved it. I couldn't believe they did what they did. However, I think some audiences may not like it that much. I feel like some people who may not be aware that this is a two-part story and that Avengers 4 is coming out later next year will be shocked. Even if you do know that, it's shocking. I really did not prepare for what they did in this movie. And I'm a little nervous about that, like what general audiences will think of it. Again, I can't go into that because of spoilers, but I don't know. I'm very curious to see what the reaction will be. But I'm glad they did what they did. I was satisfied with what they did, and I thought it was really well done. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. Loved the ending. I'm curious to see what people's reaction will be for it. But it works. It's really good. And it kind of elevates the movie to being even better than what it is. I have a lot of respect for Kevin Feige, the producer, and the Russo brothers of Marvel for doing what they're doing. And I'm really curious to see where they go next, because I really don't know. I don't know what they're going to do next. I have some theories, but I'm not sure. But man, Marvel's doing a great job. I can't wait to see where this story goes next. In the meantime, we got Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out later this July or August, which I'm really excited to see. And Captain Marvel is coming out, I think, in March of next year before we get the Avengers 4. So I'm looking forward to that. Man, I don't know what they're going to do, though. In the end, guys, Avengers Infinity War, it's what you'd expect. It's an awesome, entertaining movie. I don't think it's a flawless movie at all. I have some problems with it. I don't think it's a great movie. And I hate to say that because I don't want to be like that jerk who says that, because the hype for this movie is so big and so huge that I don't want to be that guy. But yeah, I don't think this is a great movie. I think it's more of a great audience experience and a great piece of entertainment than a great film. But you know what? Who cares? This movie is really good, really awesome. Even though I'm not going to rush out to see it, I'm excited to see it again. I'm going to give Avengers Infinity War a B+. Definitely check this one out. I'm sure most of you already have. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what your thoughts, without any spoilers, are on this movie down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video and for subscribing to my channel. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. And before I leave, never forget, I am your friend. I'm always going to be there for you. Thank you so much for being my friends. You guys are the greatest, and I will see you next time.